Hello, everybody. This is another fantastic episode, or Bodacious episode, with the Bodacious Rant with Bern and Ryan. And tonight we're coming at you with a pretty crazy review. More of a crazy film, if you may. And it is Denis Villeneuve's Dune. That just popped open this weekend on HBO Max, the theater, and IMAX, Dolby, everything. And actually, I thought it was interesting that it was released IMAX 3D. I don't know if you saw that when you were requesting movie times.
No, I didn't see any 3D shows. It must be, I guess, on a theater by theater basis.
Maybe, but I thought that was interesting. They did 3D for this one. It doesn't matter. I just thought that was cool. But it finally came out after, being announced last year. And it was interesting, but in the greatest way possible. Quite an epic movie. Like, this is like a sci-fi Lord of the Rings, or at least that's how the vibe I got when I saw it. I was just like, holy shit, this is epic. Way better than the original. That's all I'm gonna say right now.
Yeah, I mean, you had the I guess the knowledge of the David Lynch adaptation that came out, I think, in like the 70s or something.
Yeah.
And I know we were planning on doing a talk on that movie, but lost for time, so we didn't get to do that. But it's kind of good because I think we can kind of give two perspectives on this review, where one, you having a little bit more knowledge, having seen the movie, the previous adaptation, and me just coming in like cold. Like I was like, what, I just won't watch anything, I won't listen to anything. I mean, I'm kind of aware of Dune, like in just sort of the broadest aspects of it. Like, I know the novel was a particularly big influence for properties such as like Game of Thrones, Star Wars, The Matrix, basically anything like in the sci-fi genre. It's like you can see the elements like that they took from Dune, and it was kind of interesting seeing this adaptation and being like, oh, okay, like I can see where this influenced all those things, like coming to it fresh. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I will say, compared to the original, this definitely captured more of those influences. Because when I saw the original, like, knowing that they helped influence like Star Wars and all these epic stories we know today, I was like, I did not see any of that in that story. It was such a weird movie. I think it was done either late 70s or early 80s. So actually, no, it was definitely like mid 80s, because I was thinking like Back to the Future and other movies look way better than this one did. So what happened? Like, they just held up better, if that's the best way to put it. They still look
84.
great. Yeah, they still look great, where Dune just does not. It's almost like Spawn did not. Too ahead of its time. And this one broke it down. So this is part 1 of 2. We have not gotten part 2 greenlit yet, so no rush, I suppose. Like, don't worry, you guys aren't missing too much at the moment. But yeah, the first one, I'm just going to say a quick bit about it. Not only the effects did not hold up, but it just kind of went into everything way too quickly. Not enough for me to understand the whole dilemma or what exactly is super important about their struggles and stuff. But that's what Denis Villeneuve did a way better job, is that this is more of a character study and almost like a commentary on fate. You kind of set your own path. Not everything is predetermined, and I really like that. The performances were fantastic in this one, especially by Timothée Chalamet and even Rebecca Ferguson. I think they were the two biggest standouts for me this whole film.
Yeah, they were for me as well.
Like, I haven't really seen him in too much, so I'm not necessarily a fan of his. But because the only movie I've really seen him in was Hostiles with Chris Bale, that Western film with Wes Studi. So that was my only experience really with Timothée Chalamet. And this one, though, wow, this guy can deliver. I'm loving it. I can't wait for part 2 after this one. And yeah, it's like the original one. It had the likes of Patrick Stewart, Kyle MacLachlan from the Flintstones, and I forgot what else he was in.
Twin Peaks. I know
it was Twin Peaks. I didn't want to say that until I got confirmation. So thank you, Bern. But yeah, besides that, so I think that's another reason why I wasn't too into it. But this one, just such a stacked cast. It was like, wow. If you don't know any of these people, are you living under a rock?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, this is one of, like, for lack of a better word, like the one of the hottest casts like in Hollywood. I mean, like it has like all these people who are like really at the top of their games right now. With, like you said, Timothy Chalamet, hot. Rebecca Ferguson, hot. Stellan Skarsgård, hot.
Oscar Isaac, hot.
Jason Momoa. It's like, go down the list. Like, it's a fantastic cast. And when it was announced, you know, that Denis Villeneuve was going to make it, and, you know, this cast was on board, I was like, this was one of my most anticipated movies of last year. But then, you know, unfortunately, it got delayed, and now we're seeing it, you know, in the year 2021. And man, I think for me, it was worth the wait. Absolutely worth the wait. Like you said, the cast, they really do a good job of you know, bringing these characters to life, and I think that's one of the more difficult things to do, especially when introducing a sci-fi story like this, where you know, it being a part one. There's a lot of exposition and there's a lot of learning to do about this world, and as someone who came in cold, the movie did a really good job of explaining everything and really like getting you educated on what's going on in this particular universe. And you know, one of the ways that people can really relate to the story that's going on is through the characters, and I think the characters were really well drawn out and they were acted really well. So I mean, it works on all those fronts too, where I was fully enveloped in this story. And I mean, that I'll get to the, you know, the visual effects and the sound later on, but you know, focusing on the performances right now, it's one of the best casts, and they all bring their A game. And I mean, for something like this, that's what you really need to sort of launch a new property. Well, not necessarily a new property, but you know, this version of this property that a lot of people are coming into, like me, for the first time.
Yeah, like I said, this one has definitely set in stone for me. After watching the old one in quarantine last year, I was really worried because I love Denis' work, you know, especially Sicario. That's easily one of my favorite movies he's done. And I was like, this story is so complicated. I'm like, can he get it right? But then seeing that he wanted to break it up into 2 movies, because the original one's around 3 hours, and it's a hard 3 hours to really go through. And this one, I'm not gonna lie, I was nodding off here and there. It is a bit of a slow burn movie here and there, but having said that, when the action and the acting really come into play, this movie is, like I said, very epic. It is such a visual, you know, buffet of deliciousness and visual just magic really. This is definitely a movie. I know, like, No Time to Die is one of those. This is another one to go see the theater for, especially in IMAX. It was so great to see. The effects were fantastic. Visuals are great, and yeah, like you said, the actors really delivered it. I was actually kind of funny. I was talking with some people, and they say, "Oh, Jason Momoa plays the same character over and over again." And it's like, yeah. However, this one definitely kind of set himself aside from his other characters. Like, he's definitely advancing himself better as an actor. And Dave Bautista, man, he had such presence in this one too, as as one of the villains. It was pretty haunting when him and Stellan Skarsgård?
Yeah, Stellan Skarsgård.
And when they come on screen, you know, like, oh my god, this is bad. So, like I said, the visual language in this movie was just really spoke to like what the story is about, who the characters are, and where the setting is. You know, it and that's why I loved about it. It dove deeper into Arrakis, the planet that this movie takes place on, and why else it's so special besides the main, you know, thing that they're talking about. We're trying to keep this spoiler free as much as possible for you guys, because we do want you guys to see this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, the visuals in this movie, I mean, it's honestly, this is probably one of the best sensory experiences I've had in a movie theater. Like, the visuals and the sound that work together so well to like again, like I said, all of it just sucks you into the movie. You know, Denis Villeneuve and his cinematographer Greg Fraser, who, you know, he does have a lot of experience with scale. You know, he's done he's shot what was that? Oh, Rogue One. That's right. He shot Rogue One, and in that one, it does a really good job of placing, you know, objects that we know and something else that's like that can show you the scale. So like, for example, like he puts a Star Destroyer over like a town, Jeddah in Rogue One, and then we see that the same Star Destroyer in front of the Death Star, and the scale is just huge. They do the same thing here, where they have like people or ships, and they like on like the background is just like ginormous, so you really get a sense of this epic scale. And the use of the IMAX format really complements that so well, where if you're seeing it at home, you're honestly missing out, because I mean you don't get, like, you're literally missing out because the movie is cropped. Like I did watch it on HBO Max earlier today, and the scenes that we saw that were in IMAX were not formatted in that ratio for the home experience. So you are missing out on a lot of like detail there. So that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you kind of got to go to the movie theater to get the full experience. And the sound design, it was amazing as well. Like the theater was literally shaking with the one that we were in, and Hans Zimmer's scores, like, the dude's just killing it. I mean, he's been at the top of his game for a while now, but it seems like when he works with Denis Villeneuve, this being, I think, his second time working with him, the first one being Blade Runner 2049, his music is a lot more experimental in these movies, and in this movie it complemented the scenery so well, where it feels very alien, but there's something very tribal about the music too, so it just works on all those fronts. So again, the visuals and the sound, complemented by the acting, it just all works in just like harmony, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing that I really want to comment on is just the sci-fi aspect of it, for maybe those of you who are really into like sci-fi or like tech of the movies. Maybe it's just me. Either way, I'm talking for myself here.
I'm totally into that stuff too.
From what I've read on like other people like who've read Dune and the original works and stuff, Denny's the only one who's truly captured the technology that the movie was trying to emulate, like that the book was talking about. Especially when there's a couple of cool ships in there. They're almost like, they look like giant dragonflies, but they're like helicopters and stuff. It's really cool how they make you feel familiar, but looking at like the sound design makes it feel okay. I know what we're doing here, or what it's supposed to be. But visually, it's like, what am I looking at? Like, this is so interesting. And just character design as well, wardrobe design, everything looks...
Oh, yeah.
It looks so relatable, but also very futuristic and very, like, sci-fi. Like, he simplified things, but also added his tweak to it. And I'm going to give my rating now. I'm going to give this one... I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Just because... Overall, it's such a delight to see it in IMAX, and it was just, when it hits hard, and I can't wait for part 2. Hopefully we'll get that soon. We don't know yet. They should be announcing it, just because this movie's done really well at the box office and on HBO Max, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I will also give this movie a 4 out of 5 with an asterisk. An asterisk being that this is really just, part 1 of a story. So it does feel incomplete. Like, a lot of this movie is, set up an introduction in this world and really like setting the stakes. Like, think of it as like as a season 1 of Game of Thrones, where like once that season ends, you kind of get an idea of where these characters are going. And that is very much the case here. So there's not like a definitive end. It's more of like a start to an experience. So, should part 2 come out and just like absolutely nail it, this could definitely hit a 5 out of 5 for me. But, as it stands right now, it's hard for me to give it a 5 at this moment in time, just because it's not done yet.
I will say this, even though, yes, this is a build up to the next one, the next one's going to be epic as fuck. So you do want to see this just to prepare yourself for it, because if anyone's seen the original, you guys are going to know what's going to happen next. Or maybe he'll change it up. We don't know. But until next time, guys, go see it. It's out in theaters everywhere, or on HBO Max, whatever you're more comfortable with and whatever's easier for you. But... let us know. Did you guys like this? What was your favorite part of it? What did you not like about it? We love to know in the comment section. Give us a like and share us around so more people can subscribe. And Bern, I'll see you in hopefully we'll get some spice together and really trip out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fear is the mind killer, and I'm afraid that the part 2 won't come out, but it will. It will. As long as people get their spice. It'll happen.
Absolutely. But everybody, stay bodacious, keep on ranting, and stay safe. I'll talk to you later, bro.
Alrighty, man. I'll see you on the next one. Everybody, like you said, be good, be safe, and adios.